Huge thanks to eBay for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description to expand your Star Wars collection today. Hello there. This is the top 10 Star Wars Black Series action figures of all time as determined by you, the voters. We asked for your votes on social media outlets like Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon, and you did not disappoint. Nearly 100 different figures received votes, and those votes represented the entire spectrum of Black Series figures: new, old, humans, aliens, Jedi, Sith, droids, and bounty hunters. It was a Star Wars love fest from Admiral Akbar all the way to Constable Zuvio. Number 10 is 2013-2019 Darth Maul, one of the first Black Series figures ever released, re-released just this year for fans who missed it the first time. That's one release per half that he was cut into. 2 different heads, a 2-piece lightsaber hilt, removable lightsaber blades, and a pair of binoculars. While this figure itself doesn't split in two, it did come with a lot of stuff in the box, establishing early on that a higher price point also meant a more fully realized representation of the character. The only way it could have been better is if it came with one more head with that surprised face he makes every time that I kill him, which I've done twice. Number 9 is 2018 Target exclusive GAMORREAN guard, a brilliant representation with an articulated jaw and actual fur skirt, 2 different axes, and a vibro staff. He's so deluxe that you had to pay an extra $10 to add him to your collection. And $10 is pretty much his story. Workaday lads making minimum space wage, blue-collar security at Jabba's palace, just trying to collect a paycheck and then go home to the wife and piglets. Can I say piglets? Spend your day protecting a notorious crime lord, knowing that it might put you on the wrong end of a lightsaber. Drugs and alcohol for everyone but you, gambling, space burlesque, all manner of questionable characters coming and going at all hours of the day. You gotta keep an eye on things while everyone else sleeps off the insanity of last night's party. Not to mention there's an actual Rancor monster in the basement. It's better than being out in the blistering hot Tatooine suns all day harvesting moisture, or ringing a register at the Mos Eisley MAUL. Now that's a wretched hive of scum and villainy. So uncivilized. Number 8 is 2018 Han Solo Bespin outfit, the hot-headed space cowboy with the fastest ship in the galaxy, one of the characters in the line that has benefited greatly from the introduction of face printing technology because, you see, he has a human face that you can see right on the front of his head. Earlier versions of Han claimed to be likenesses, but they were more like do-not likenesses. The ability to print a face onto an already accurate sculpt has elevated these figures from toys to articulated art. This is no mere plaything, it is a polyvinyl chloride portrait. Number 7 is 2019 Amazon exclusive Emperor Palpatine, another figure benefiting from a second release as Palpatine was first released in 2015. For 2019, some changes were made and more accessories were included. This time, he comes with alternate lightning effect hands, 2 additional heads with unique face-printed expressions, and his chair. It's hard to relate to a Dark Lord of the Sith who commands the power of an entire galactic empire, who could shoot lightning bolts from his fingers, who is feared by even Darth Vader himself. But don't get lost in all that stuff. He's no different than you and I. He sits. Sitting is universally relatable. I'm sitting right now. You don't need any kind of training. You don't even need to have a single midichlorian in your Royal Highnessness to sit on this throne. And that's what fans connected with. That's what fans voted for. Number 6 is 2019 General Grievous, one of our most elusive foes until one day I just had enough and thought to myself, what if I just kill him this time? He's always surrounded by droids, but I have a master level command of the Force. The only reason he survives these battles is because we let him. Let's not do that anymore. Star Wars Black Series stands apart from other popular action figure lines, even lines that are from Hasbro, with the sheer volume of original parts in each figure, like all of them. There's almost no reuse from figure to figure other than some accessories or characters that are supposed to be reusable, like stormtroopers. With his bifurcated arms, his taloned feet, and a cloth goods cape, Grievous is an engineering achievement in action figure form, whether you can get him to properly stand or not. Tuck his saber collection into his cape, or pose him in four-armed spinning saber unrelenting advance mode. Like the Gamorrean guard, he costs a little more, but he's a little more worth it. Number 5 is 2019 Walmart exclusive Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. Of the two Padawans I trained in the ways of the Force, Luke was by far the more successful endeavor. Although, to be fair, in my defense, Anakin was very powerful and good at doing all the Jedi stuff I taught him before he fell to the dark side and started murdering children. At what point is the teacher no longer accountable for the decisions made by the student? I have the high ground. I've always had the high ground. That's what I tried to teach Anakin. Rule 1, day 1, get the high ground. This release of Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight reuses most of the parts from the previous release of Luke Jedi in 2014. It's the same character after all, but from a different scene in Return of the Jedi. His head, his right hand, his vest, and his robe are all new, and this time the head includes face printing technology to capture a much better likeness than before. Who that likeness is supposed to be, maybe it's Aunt Beru, maybe it's David Bowie, whatever you think it looks like, it is absolutely the best Luke Skywalker delivered by the line so far, and possibly the best Luke of any line, short of Sideshow collectibles. Number 4 is 2019 Walgreens exclusive Clone Commander Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wish I could say this figure ranked so high because I'm just so popular. Voting on these lists does tend to skew towards favorite character more than objectively good action figures. The reality is that it doesn't take much to please action figure collectors. They're willing to let a lot of things go in exchange for some concessions. This figure poses terribly. He only comes with a single accessory, and from the neck down, he's a reused clone trooper that collectors have likely already purchased multiple times. That said, and while I am a very popular fan favorite, there are 3 reasons this figure ranks this high. 1, face printing has changed the game. This is a very well done likeness, the best Clone Wars Obi-Wan so far. 2, this version of the character is from an underrepresented era, the Clone Wars animated series, the era that a lot of Star Wars fans grew up with, the era that defined many of the characters in the saga day after day, week after week. And 3, he has a cloth goods robe, gives a figure that premium look and feel. It makes it feel important, and not for nothing, but it came out like a month before we asked people to vote, and if there's one thing that gets a lot of votes, it's new stuff. Number 3 is 2019 The Mandalorian. Hot out of the current Mandalorian series on Disney+, it's the newest new stuff that ever newed. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It makes sense that new figures, A, get a lot of votes, and B, get nearly all the votes. New means less reliance on the old. It means characters and stories are being created instead of relying purely on nostalgia to keep a brand alive. New figures getting votes means the line is actually getting better. Quality is improving, and people are continuing to find stuff they like in the new releases. If everything on this list were from 3 years ago, the line would probably be dead by now. Mando here is the perfect marriage of hot new character in a series that fans are enjoying, a fun, posable, relatively screen-accurate figure, and it doesn't hurt that he does play on nostalgia with a series that takes place right after Return of the Jedi, and he kind of looks like 2 previous popular character designs, Jango Fett and Boba Fett. Legacy love is just as powerful as original love. Number 2 is 2013-2019 Boba Fett. If Mandalorian is the beneficiary of transferred legacy love, then it makes sense that Boba Fett would be one step ahead of him, leaving a trail of legacy love for him to follow. It's Boba Fett's adventures that Mandalorian is living out. All the cool things we assumed Fett was doing all those years, we're actually watching Mando do now. Fighting, flying through space in a cool spaceship, flamethrowering, rocket launching, grappling, babysitting. And trust me, I've worn Mandalorian armor. It makes everyone look good. Here, let me show you. Popular character. The most popular character. It's that easy. And number 1 is 2017 40th anniversary Darth Vader. When it comes to Star Wars, there's nothing more iconic than Darth Vader. The Black Knight aesthetic, the robo-samurai skull helmet, the voice, the red lightsaber. Truly, the greatest heroes are defined by their villains, and this is one of the greatest on-screen villains ever, and I helped make him, so you're welcome. This is everything Black Series can do well. Detailed on-screen robot face likeness, cloth goods, cape and skirt, paint details that add to the realism, posability that works in a variety of settings. Fighting the Jedi, fighting the Sith, submitting to the Emperor, kicking, leaping, pining for Padme, totally forgetting that he had kids, trying to reconcile with his son, sitting. Hundreds of figures were nominated, thousands of votes were cast. When all was said and done, after the votes were tallied up, it turns out Darth Vader was in fact the chosen one. Those are the top 10 Star Wars Black Series action figures as voted by you, the fans. Droids and female characters didn't crack the list this time, but we still have a long way to go with a lot of characters still to be made in the future, a few more that need to be revisited, and no shortage of new Star Wars movies, TV series, and games to draw from. eBay has all the collectibles you just can't get anywhere else. Vintage, rare, import, new, and old, the kind of stuff we showed off in this video. Take a look through the rest of the toys. You'll find things you used to own, things you forgot about, or possibly things you didn't even know existed. I thought my Ace McCloud was complete and had been since I originally purchased it back in 1986, but to my surprise, I was missing several accessories. Look, Ace went to the beach, to school, to Grandma's house. How are we gonna shoot an episode about Kenner's Centurions without all the missiles and jet engines and wrist-mounted laser guns? I knew there was only one place to go. I knew eBay would have it. eBay is the place for collectibles, new, old, rare, vintage, one-of-a-kind, domestic, and international. All kinds of toys, action figures, accessories, playsets. Go to eBay today to find the thing you've been missing all these years. To get started today, click the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy and let us know in the comments down below who you're most disappointed didn't make this list. I appreciate all the thought and effort everyone put into their choices, and I really didn't have that many gripes with the final 10. That said, I would personally swap out the Emperor for just about any of the Imperial troops. Stormtroopers, Death Troopers, Sand Troopers, Shore Troopers, Patrol Troopers, Mud Troopers, Shadow Troopers, Sith Troopers, Range Troopers, Clone Troopers, Snow Troopers,